Hey, everyone. Welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today, we're talking about you deserve to be happy, right? A lot of times when people approach their weight loss, deep down, they've got beliefs that are really sabotaging them. One of the core beliefs is this idea that you don't deserve to be happy. You don't deserve to live at the weight you want to live at. And this is something you may have picked up through life without even realizing it sometimes. But the truth is, you absolutely deserve it. And how do I know this? I know this because if you think of everyone in your life that you've ever met or known, is there anyone you know that doesn't deserve to be happy? And almost without exclusion, people have said, no, everyone deserves to be happy. Unless you got one real outlier person. But so if you think that way about everyone else, why wouldn't you think that you deserve to be happy? And this is something, again, if this is an issue for you, you've really got to take a look at it and get through it, because it will sabotage you. If you believe that you don't deserve it, you will sabotage yourself at every turn, and you'll wonder why. And this is one of the reasons why you are so flummoxed by the whole weight loss thing, is because, again, you know you can do it, but somehow you keep sabotaging yourself. And there's a lot of reasons why that can happen, but this is one of them. And the question becomes, do I deserve to be healthy? Do I deserve to be happy? Do I deserve to weigh what I want to weigh? Be the person I want to be? And I think if you take a step back and reflect on these things, a lot of times you're going to realize that you have somewhere along the way just adopted this belief that I don't deserve it. I keep screwing up. I don't have the willpower. I keep eating the wrong things. I don't deserve it. And we get real punitive with ourselves. And again, the reason I ask you with other people in your life, you're way more forgiving. You're way more encouraging. The way you look at them, you see their good pieces. And of course, they deserve to be happy and have the things they want. And so do you. But sometimes we need to go kind of under the hood and tinker with things to get them going in the right direction. And so if you believe you don't deserve it, start questioning that. Why wouldn't you deserve it? Why? Because you've made mistakes? Because you screwed up? Because you've struggled? Why would that mean you shouldn't deserve to be happy or healthy, whatever it is that you want? And so I think when you start to look at things this way, you really do highlight a part of your mindset that can be so powerful in either ways. And that's the good news, that once you feel like you deserve the good things, you're way more open to achieving them. You set yourself up in a much more congruent way to achieve the things you actually want, because deep down you believe and know that you do deserve this. You do deserve to be as happy as you can be. You do deserve to be healthy. And I believe this 1,000%. There's not a person I think on the earth who does not deserve to be happy and healthy. And so that's something I would suggest you reflect on and wrestle with it if you do have that belief that you don't deserve it. All right. And get to a point where you finally do congruently, genuinely feel, yes, I do deserve it, because you're going to find you unleash a lot of motivation. And I think you'll find that your whole process of losing weight and ultimately keeping it off is a much smoother one. So I hope this helps you out. And if you want to go deeper into this process of really being able to go in deeper and recognize the more subtle pieces of this process, click the link in my bio and get the free hypnosis session, watch the video I made for you, and read the emails I send, because they're all about more this inner work that leads to the outer results you're looking for. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. What's up, Eileen? How's it going? Over in Instagram land. I'm all over the place. I'm in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Rebecca just gave me 25 flowers. Thank you, Rebecca. It was very nice of you. 25 roses. Excuse me. What's up, Miss Independent? How's it going? Let's see. For those, I will tell you one thing. For people that are in the mastery program, I gave you a week access to the PYT Thrive program. And yesterday we had our first class, and I screwed it all up. But it was half my fault, half the service I use's fault. So we went to the class at 3:00 and the service was down. So I shifted things up. We did it over at Zoom, but I forgot to turn my screen sharing on. So those of you that were in the class yesterday, you just got to look at me talk, but I was referencing slides the whole time. Anyways, the good news is I've put it all together. I made the video, so it's got the slides, it's got me, everything's together. I will be sending an email out in a little bit when this is done, but it's already up there. So if you go to the Thrive area, you go to live weekly calls, the replay is right there. So you can go check that out. And I see Connie says, I see the bonuses tab now on PYT Thrive. Awesome success planner. Yes, awesome. I'm glad you like that. That success planner is awesome. I don't know what I was thinking. I did that years ago. That was 5 years ago. I was doing the PYT Thrive with the actual physical planners. And yeah, people loved them. They're really, it's awesome. You know, it's a literal planner for each day of the month. And it's kind of a quote and the whole thing. It's great. So I'm glad you like it, Connie. I know you'd like it. I knew you'd like that. So I'm glad you got to use that. As always, enjoy your sessions. Thank you, Rebecca. Tabitha. All right. Tabitha's in the program. I still got to respond. What? Did I respond to your emails? I'll check them today. I definitely, yesterday was a busy day with everything. Oh, yes. Your email. Yes, I will get that. I'm going to get it today. I promise you. Yesterday went bonkers. And, anyways, I'll get to it. Yeah. Right. And then there's Christina. Cause I got Christina saying I couldn't get on it all to the class. Yes. That class, I know some people said they couldn't get on the class and I'd sent out an email with the new link to it. Some people missed it, but anyways, regardless, it's all fixed now. So it's there. What's up, Jen? How's it going? What's up, Sherry? How you doing? And it says, my burning question, are you eliminating the sleepnosis with no count out? I'll be so sad. No, I'm not, Jen. And I just saw that email before I got on here. I'm thinking what might have happened there is when I made the sleepnosis session, I forgot to take the count out. That's what I'm thinking happened there. So no, that happens sometimes. I just made a mistake, I think, but no, the sleepnosis, what they're referring to is every week with the every week there's a lesson, a little short lesson, and there's a hypnosis session that goes with it. So you listen to that session all week. And that session, there's a hypnosis session with a count out, and there's a sleepnosis session. And the sleepnosis sessions are ones without a count out. So you listen to them right as you're going to sleep, and then you can just sleep. You know, you don't want to go to sleep and then get count out, right? So no, that is I just don't know what happened. I'll have to look into that because you wrote that and I had written the wrong thing in the title tag, but it was the right audio. But now I'm thinking the audio is screwed up. Yeah, it's been a tough technological week, I guess, but that's okay. That's okay. We get them all fixed up. So, anyways, all right. Yeah. Katie can see the success planner now also. So good. I hope you all like that. What's up, Karen? How's it going? Yeah. So I like the sleepnosis. No, I would never get rid of those. So I just messed it up probably. Well, let's see. So how's everyone doing? I know it's so funny. I will tell you in the span of a year, typically this week into next week are typically the 2 weeks, especially next week. No one wants to think about weight loss at Thanksgiving, which is funny because every year for literally like 20 years, I've always done like your best Thanksgiving training and session, so it's so funny. But anyways, Jen says, yeah, now that you're 50 like us, the technology will get you. For sure. The technology's been getting me for 30 years. I am like, I don't know. I kind of get technology enough, but I don't know. I shouldn't really be anywhere around it, to be honest. That's what I think. My brain and technology sometimes, but on the fair side, I've been doing a lot of stuff, changing up the programs and all that stuff. So, something's always going to break. What do they say, right? To make an omelet, you got to crack a few eggs. So I knew, there's always going to be something that doesn't work right. And it's annoying though. It's frustrating. I was so annoyed yesterday. Like when all of a sudden that service just went out 3:00 because I checked it too. I checked like 5 minutes earlier. It was working fine. And 3:00, it just froze up. It's like, I love that stuff. What's up, Kent? Kent says 6 weeks of PYT mastery, and I'm already 25% of the way to living at my goal weight. Thanks, Jim. That's awesome, Kent. Let's take a screenshot of that one. That's great. That's super. And notice how Ken frames that. Okay. He goes, I'm 25% of the way to my goal. Okay. So there's a little suggestion for all of you. When you're losing weight, I would suggest, obviously you can recognize how much weight you've lost. Fine. But it doesn't mean a lot to our brains. And if we just focus on the weight we lost, our brains think relatively. And so if we just say, I've lost 20 pounds, I lost 10 pounds. Well, is that good or bad? Well, it depends how much weight you want to lose, right? So a lot of times people just focus on how much weight they've lost, but they don't put in the context what the ultimate goal is. And so you can tell yourself, I lost 10 pounds, I lost 10 pounds, I lost 10 pounds. but eventually it starts to really not mean much. But if your goal is to lose 40 pounds, losing 10 pounds, you're 25% of the way there. And so when you break it into a percentage, you always give your brain a context of where we're at and where we want to go and how far we are from it. And so it's a subtle little thing, but I find it to be really, really helpful, because a lot of times we just focus on the weight, we lose the meaning, because I just lost 20 pounds, I lost 10 pounds, I lost 10 pounds. Well, 10 pounds, if you got 100 pounds you want to lose, that doesn't feel like much. If you've got 40 pounds to lose, you're a quarter of the way there. That feels a little better. So great job, Kent. And that's great results, right? Nice job. And just getting started. That's the most fun part. Don says, Jim, I'm getting 1 5-minute daily. Am I supposed to have one a night too, or is that weekly? That's the weekly one, Don. So yeah, we're in a little bit of a limbo area with the app. So I will say that, but it'll all be fixed by this week. Eventually what's going to happen is you'll get an email or text in the morning. That'll be up to you. If you want to email, you'll automatically get an email. But if you want a text, you'll be able to sign up for that. And if you do sign up for a text, you'll get a text in the morning and at night that will be reminders. So I know people like the reminders. Sure says, my 3rd grade students always used to help me with technology. Yeah, kids are so good with it, right? My son's like that. It is weird. My son especially, because he's had technology, just been surrounded by his whole life, and it's like, yeah, they get it on a different level to some degree. That is true. I think the secret technology is keep an open mind. That's the main thing. Keep an open mind, recognize that, you're learning stuff and it's a little confusing and frustrating at some points, but if you stick with it, you usually get through it. Jen says, I'm still only a few pounds away from my goal. However, I'm giving myself until after the new year to hit goal. Maintaining where I am between now and then is a win. Maintenance process. Yeah, that's perfect, Jen. I think that's perfect. I think, again, you've got to, you don't have to, but I think it's very helpful if you see what you're doing within context. And, to expect, your month in May, if you're just living an average life, your month in May, how you're eating there compared to how you eat in December. Like, they're two totally different situations. So again, you can do the dieting thing where it's just like every situation is exactly the same. I'm always going to act the same because I'm just a robot and I'm just going to eat perfect. I'm going to stay in ketosis. You can kind of have that mindset, or you can have a more realistic mindset, and you can start to be able to have some flexibility in what you're doing. You can have phases. You can have times when you're really hitting things hard, and you have times where I'm focused on maintenance. Holidays, I want to be able to eat some cookies and drink some wine here and there. And so I'm not worried about losing weight during this month. I'm not worried about any of it. I'm focused on maintaining it, and that may sound crazy to dieters, but you dieters, where are you at? You know where you're at. You're nowhere to be found. You're nowhere to be found for the next month and a half. And so again, this all or nothing versus the all or something, I think it's going to lose every time, exactly for that reason. So I think that's brilliant, Jen. I think, and I think you've probably heard me say this, but a couple of years ago, I wanted to lose 5 pounds. I gave myself the whole summer because I don't give a shit about how quickly I can lose 5 pounds. I don't give a shit about that. I don't know why anyone does care about that. And what I'm focused on is living 5 pounds lighter. And that may sound like the same to you dieters, but it's completely not. It's a completely different goal. And, so everything I'm doing is always built for the long-term focus of living at my goal weight, not just losing weight and doing crazy shit to get to my goal weight for a little bit of time. I want to live there for the rest of my life. And so, when I gave myself 4 months to lose 5 pounds, it wasn't that I couldn't lose 5 pounds quickly if I did drastic stuff. It was, what can I do to my normal eating and lifestyle routines so that I'm 5 pounds lighter, comfortably, sustainably? And so that focus, I think, is a much better one for getting better results. And, they came out with a big study. I don't know if you saw the news of this, and I got to look deeper into it, but basically it was the idea that fat cells have memories. And so if you've been obese, it's like your fat cells remember that weight and operate differently. Now, again, I got to read it more to really get what they're saying, because I notice a lot of times these studies, they'll get some journalist who kind of writes like a headline, and it's not really an accurate headline for what they found. But what I've seen already is this was a focus on epigenetic factors. And I think understanding epigenetics, I'm not a geneticist and I have no real ability or training in that. Okay. But basically, you know, there's the genetics we're born with, and then there's epigenetic factors that our environment influences, our lifestyle influences, or the food intake influences. And so we do have, you know, the genes we're born with, but then there's a lot of genetic factors we can influence by what we do day to day, how we eat, what our weight is, what our activity levels are. And we start to change a lot of these subtle little factors. There was a book years ago back in the 70s, it was called The Relaxation Response. And, you know, I'm thinking, was it the 70s? Because they were checking epigenetics. I'm not sure when they started recognizing that stuff. But regardless, so this might have actually, they did do a sequel to it too. So I'm not sure. You know what? I'm referencing the sequel that they did years later. Relaxation Response was a book from the 70s about relaxing. And then in like the 90s or early 2000s, they did a book testing the relaxation response with epigenetic factors. And what they found basically is that they took these people and they had them practice relaxation and meditation for a period of months. And the whole time they were tracking epigenetic factors from the beginning and afterwards. And I'm blanking on the numbers, so don't hold me to this, but it was somewhere in the ballpark of 250 epigenetic factors that they were measuring improved from the months of meditation and relaxation. And so this was so, again, without really understanding epigenetics, it's the idea that there's a lot of subtlety to mastering your weight. It's not just a calorie in, calorie out thing, not long term. And that's why I think you need a comprehensive, holistic approach to mastering your weight. And I don't think just dieting and tracking calories and counting calories and restricting calories, I just don't think that's going to get the job done long term. I think you need to have a holistic plan. And when you start thinking holistically, you can start to think, how can I influence these subtle factors on the outside? How calm I feel, how relaxed I am, how my cellular functioning, my metabolic functioning. There's all these different things that are being impacted by your environment, your lifestyle, and what you're eating. And so if you start thinking in that way and you start thinking longer term and you stop just thinking about calories, I think you open yourself up to being able to influence a whole lot more of yourself than just restricting calories. And I think all of those factors that you can influence in a positive way, I think that's what sets you up for long-term success. And so in our society, we've hit 75% of the population's overweight or obese. The number's going up. Their estimate is going to be at 90% within the next 5-10 years. And the reason I tell you that is that everything when it comes to weight is based around the idea that it's impossible to keep the weight off. And even the scientific studies now, they track people that struggle to keep the weight off. And they can go and point to epigenetic factors and cellular functioning and all that. And of course, that I'm not going to dispute that. But what they never do is they never study people that use a more strategic long-term approach to mastering their weight. It's always studies done on diets and dieters. So it's extreme calorie restriction, it's keto, it's extreme diet approaches. And then they say, oh, look, this extreme diet didn't change these epigenetic factors, didn't change this, and it's hard for them to keep the weight off. But almost never do I see these people studying people that are having a more holistic approach where it's more whole foods based. So they're putting better, healthier foods in there. They've shifted their lifestyle. So now they're more relaxed and calm, centered, grounded, more relaxed, hydrated, more nourished, sleep-wise, food-wise, mentally, emotionally, all the rest of it. And I don't really see a lot of that. And so I don't know. Anyways, I got to look up the study and I'll get you more specifics about it. But it's just, I see this all the time that they're starting to understand all the reasons why. To me, I look at everything as why dieting's not working. But anyways, it was an interesting study. But yeah, the weekly one. Yeah, you should be getting the weekly one at night. You should be getting them at night on Nudge right now still. Clyde says, Jim, your voice comes later than you speak it. Oh, really? There's a disconnect between the two. That's kind of weird, huh? I don't know why. Well, all right. Karen says, I hate that I carry all my weight in my lower stomach. Yeah, well, I mean, at some point, everyone's pretty much going to have to deal with this, that there's something you don't like about your body, right? There's something. There's always something we don't like, that we hate. And so I don't know. I mean, how do you deal with that? I suggest you deal with it because I'm real sensitive. I don't want to hate any part of my body. I don't want to hate yeah, I don't know. And I'm sensitive to the word hate. I've always raised, I swear a lot. Yeah, you know, you guys know that. And tell you a secret. I swear on my kids sometimes. Okay. But there's one word I don't like. And I've always said, I don't want you guys saying that. And it's hate. So I get what you're saying, Karen. We all have preferences and things we wish were different about ourselves. I mean, right. At the same time, I don't want to hate my body in any way. There's things that annoy me. I'm frustrated. I wish it wasn't this way. I wish it was better. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being sensitive, so you can just ignore that. But I don't want to bring hate anywhere near this stuff. But I get it. I get it. You know, you want to look different, you want to look better, and all the rest of it. To that, what I say is, you know, I look at, there's things you can influence and things you can't. Right? I mean, you know, I can influence my weight. I can't influence my hair. I wish I had a full head of hair. Yeah, sure. Right? Yeah, sure. But you know, I don't. And so I am who I am. I am what I am. And I don't know. Again, I'm gonna sit here and oh, love your body, because I know we all say that, but that's one of those things. You know, the idea of like loving your body. I find that to be one of the funniest things because everyone says it, everyone believes it when they say it, everyone tells everyone that, and then no one really feels it for their own body. You know what I mean? So everyone's walking around like, oh, you're gonna love your body. And it's like, you're full of shit. You don't love your body. I rarely find a person who really loves their body. I find that very interesting. And I've worked on this for a lot of years with people. I will tell you a little secret. The reason you don't love your body is you always think of it visually. And, you know, so I think that what I will tell you, let's just flip it around for a second. And I'm only telling you something I've told myself because I hate this part of my body. I hate this part of my body. I used to do that stuff. And then I said, well, geez, that's because I'm looking at it visually. And I'm looking at it visually with a bunch of conditioning bullshit in my head, cultural conditioning. So what I mean is, on a core level, I hope that you think of your body primarily functionally. Who gives a shit what it looks like? You know what I mean? Like, honestly, if like there's a part of your body you don't like, it's like, why? Because it doesn't meet society's definition of perfection, right? Or the way it should look, right? But here you get this strong, beautiful body that works. And a lot of times, you know what I mean? Like that's one of the techniques we do in the program. But it's like, if you're always also busy hating your body. And it's like, a lot of times the people hating their body have these beautiful bodies that work beautifully, like near perfect. Well, what's near perfect, Jim? Well, let's look at someone who's a quadriplegic. You think give a fuck if they carry weight in their stomach? You think they wouldn't trade the fucking legs in the back for some weight in their stomach? I'm not picking on you, Karen, but you know what I mean? I do this to myself because I like to put things in perspective, you know? And it's like, you know, oh, I don't like my arms, they're flabby. And it's like, I get what you're saying. I understand there's a context societally. I understand all that. But what I'm saying is, every time you hate something about your body, you might as well love something about your body. I love that I can see. I love that I can hear. I love that I can walk. I love that I can throw a ball. I love that I can ride a bike. I love that I can climb up and down the stairs, because you don't know what you got until it's gone. And we tend to take a lot of shit for granted. And to be honest, most people really do kind of reside in the hate category, you know, when it comes to their body. Most people find it way easier to hate their body than to love their body, genuinely. And I think, you know, if you hate your body on another level, it's very difficult to get good results, because typically when we hate something, we punish it. We don't really want to take great care of things we hate. So, you know, again, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I truly, for me personally, I don't want to hate any part of my body. And at the same time, I wish I had better hair. So I could say both. I don't hate my head. I don't hate my hair. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, take it or leave it. Karen says, so true. Well, good. I hope that helps you a bit. Ken said, I hate that I have high blood pressure and elevated cholesterol levels. Working on it though. Yeah. Again, you know, y'all get to choose what you want to do. You know, I have high cholesterol, genetically, and I spent 10 years working to get it down, and I was never able to really do it. And then I went on statins. I didn't really like any of that. But again, hate's a real fiery emotion that I don't know. I that's my own personal thing. So obviously everyone take it, but I prefer to build around love when I can. Maybe I'm just Very, very woo-woo person. Jen says, if anyone is watching the show, Somebody Somewhere, there's an amazingly relatable scene with the main character and her relationship with her body. I did see that, and I thought you're right. 1,000%. Jamie Lee Curtis was great in that, I thought. And I know what you're talking about. So yeah, I agree with that. Regina says we should love our bodies because they serve us so well. We see, we hear, we walk, etc. Yeah, exactly, Regina. I'm right on the same page with that. I think, again, and I think that's an interesting conversation to have because it gives you a perspective of just how crazy the conditioning is that we live within, right? In terms of how we think of our bodies. And we can have this beautiful working body and hate it because what? Because it's a size bigger than it, or it's bigger than it should be, or whatever, and we're basing ourselves on such superficial shit. And again, I think it's helpful, every time you're feeling bad about how you look, again, you can want to look better, but I think you should use it as an opportunity also to appreciate what you got. But it's everyone's choice. This is up Kelly. Kelly said, I love my body by being grateful for it, every bit of it. Yeah, it just feels better. I don't know, right? I don't know. Everyone gets to choose which method and path they're going to walk. But me personally, that's why in Program Yourself, then there's the 8 habits that we really build our lifestyle habits in an order of importance: sleep, hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. So gratitude for me, I'm steeping myself in gratitude constantly. And I'm constantly working on feeling more gratitude. So we live in a society. I'll give you my conspiracy theory here. I think what unites us more than anything as a culture, and I'll just talk about America right now, right? So you can say America's a divided place, right? But I'll tell you one thing we're not divided on. One thing we all are under the same banner of, we're all consumers. We are all giant consumers the world has never known. And I think one of the core things that drives that consumerism is a lack of gratitude. A constant, never-ending feeling that we all have as Americans, that what we have is okay, but there's more. And what we have really isn't enough. I need more. And I think that funnels right down to our bodies. And I think if you hate anything about your body, how are you grateful for it? I'm not saying you can't get there somehow, but it takes a lot of gymnastics to get to that. And so for me personally, I really do as much as I can. It's a work in progress for sure, but I'm constantly really working on feeling gratitude for what I got going on here. Even the stuff I don't necessarily, because again, and I've gotten to a place where I feel gratitude for things, and simultaneously I wish they were different. Like, I'm grateful for the head and hair I got. But at the same time, if I could just magically snap my fingers, I would change it. But I live in a state of gratitude, though. You see, and I think that's an important thing to realize. You can feel grateful for what you got and still want more. And I think this is the approach. If you're overweight, you start loving your body now because you've been taught, and I know you do it. You're withholding love for your body. You're withholding feeling confident, feeling good, feeling beautiful, feeling attractive. You're withholding that because you're using it as kind of a stick to whip yourself with. And you're saying, once I get to my goal weight, then I'll feel beautiful. Then I'll feel confident. Then I'll feel attractive. And you're withholding beautiful emotions and feelings from yourself. And a lot of times it's those emotions and feelings that are going to get you to the goal anyways. But I think it's the idea that you can be overweight and you can love your body right now and want to make it healthier, want to make it slimmer, want to make it better. And I think I think a lot of dieters struggle with that because they have to really, no, you suck, you're bad, you're shitty. And they're so mean to yourself to try and get yourself motivated. And it just seems like very ineffective. Oh, well, okay. I see. Yeah. Jen said a different show. All right. Yeah. Somebody somewhere. I'm thinking of something else. It was something like that though. That's weird. I got to know what the show is. Let me look it up real quick, but it was a movie. And, anyways, it was a real weird movie. No, I don't even know. Now I got to know though. I don't know. No, I don't even know. I'll have to look it up. But now I have to look up your movie, Jen. I'll have to look at that show. I'll tell you. I'll show you a show. We're talking shows, and I'm gonna mess up this quote a little bit. But this hit me right in the heart. I swear. It was the show is Schitt's Creek. If you ever seen it, it's a funny show. I like that show. It's done now, but I think it's a funny show. And anyways, the mom in the show was talking to the daughter, and she goes, yeah, I'm gonna make this wrong a little bit, but she goes, at some point in your life, you're gonna look back at yourself now with much kinder eyes. And I don't know what it was about that, because I see that all the time with my clients, is why that a lot of times I'll talk to clients, and I mean regularly, and give me some hearts if you ever experienced this, that when you look back at pictures of yourself, that when you thought you were really overweight and didn't like how you looked, and you look at it now and you're like, what the fuck? Why was I so hard on myself? I was beautiful. And so I don't know if you've had that experience, but so many of my clients have had that, where they were so hard on themselves when they're younger. And now they look at themselves 20 years ago and like, what was I doing? I was beautiful. And I see that so much. And I just think that again, this is really, again, it's the emotions of how we feel about ourselves being overweight, how shitty we feel about ourselves for not being able to change it. That is really, I swear, that's more motivating to me. That's literally why I get out here every day. Again, I always say, I want you to live longer. Is number one, but number 1.5 really is the emotions that you're living with day in and day out. And that's the part to me that really hits me in the feels and the gut, that makes me motivated to get out here and work to help people every day. Because I'm like, just the idea that you would have this beautiful life afforded to you that you could waste by feeling like shit about yourself is just, it breaks my heart. And so anyway, so that's that whole thing. But yeah. Kelly says, you're right. The stick doesn't work and just feels crappy. Yes, exactly. When you beat yourself with a shitty feeling stick, it doesn't work because it just burns you out. When you really try and like whip yourself to do the right thing. And that's what all you dieters do, basically. Let's be honest. You always use pain as your main motivator, but you use it really ineffectively. And you're like, always say like, I look like shit and I'm a bad person. I feel like crap and I got to do something about that. I got to change this. And it's like, but it's all rooted in feeling like shit about yourself. And it's very difficult to make good food choices when you feel like shit about yourself. Right? Once in a while, you get so upset, you get emotional. I said, I'm going to change everything. You do it for a little bit, but ultimately day after day, it's very difficult when you feel like shit about yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, to make good food choices. So beating yourself up in order to get yourself to make better food choices, most of the time I see that not working out. And so if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, welcome to the club. It doesn't work for most people. And we're now at a point where 75% of the population is overweight or obese. That's so crazy that when it went up like 3% in the last couple years. God, it's unbelievable. What's up, Don? Hippie Jim in the house. Yeah, hippie Jim in the house. Exactly right. Ms. Independent, thank you. It's very important to appreciate us and how blessed we are. Yes, absolutely. Tabitha says, to me is the opposite. I thought I was skinnier. Now I look at my pictures and I gasped. I was obese. Yeah, that can happen too. That can go that way too. But yeah, I got diagnosed with severe body dysmorphia. Yeah, that can happen both ways for sure. For sure. But again, I will tell you, I don't know. I don't know. Again, everyone's different, but to me, it's like, I'd rather love my body, love myself. I find that to be a much stronger form of motivation personally, because when I love myself and my body, like I always want to take better care of it. I want to feel good. And I don't know, like I have hated myself. I've been very conflicted in my head at other times. And I was so self-destructive, and it's just so much self-harm in so many ways. So I feel like I've been on both sides of it, and I much more prefer the great gratitude, love, peace side of it. But we all get to choose what we're going to do, right? So anyways, yeah, the body dysmorphia is interesting for sure. Yeah. What's the fix for that? Well, I will tell you one thing. I will say, so without getting into the details of resolving or working on body dysmorphia things, I will say that being more calm and relaxed, I think at very least gives you a much firmer, stronger foundation to see things more accurately. I think when your mind is calmer and clearer, when your emotions are calmer and clear, when you're physically more relaxed, I think it puts you into a state of being where you're able to see things more accurately. And I think now in America in 2024, most people aren't anywhere near that. Most people are in a constant chronic state of stress. And when you're that way, it's very easy to start seeing things incorrectly. So I think relaxing, calming down, centering yourself, grounding yourself regularly is really the first step to dealing with that, to seeing things more accurately. Oh yeah, Jen says, yeah, the mantra, my body is my baby. I give it what it needs is the one I come back to. I love that one. So I'm glad you like that, Jen. That's one of my favorite ones. That's one of the mantras in the program. And that's a great strategy too. So for all of you that love to hate your body, in Program Yourself Thin, one of the kind of paradigms we use is this idea that your body is like your child or really like your baby. I mean, your body is completely dependent on you. Your body is at the mercy of the decisions you make. And that's an interesting framing to put around it. Because a lot of times the way you're framing things, you're making it feel like your body is working against you. And that's just, again, I could go way deep into this whole concept, but even when you start hating something, it starts to create a divide in you. And as soon as you have a divide, now you got two parts that are kind of warring at each other in some capacity. And again, I don't know. You have to tell me how that helps you out long term. I know it can help you out short term. I get that. I see plenty of people that hate themselves to lose weight, hate themselves to get in great shape. But to me, I'm always looking at the longer term thing. So I don't give a shit if I can force myself through pain and misery to do something for a little while. Like that's not anywhere in the ballpark of anything I want to do. And so I'm always looking for the bigger picture, the broader scope. And so weight loss alone isn't what I want. I want to be a happier, healthier, best version of me. And so I'm not, again, yeah, if I just lose weight, but inside I'm miserable shit, that's not what I want. That's not even appealing to me. So, and I've talked to enough people that are miserable shits. They've lost weight in miserable ways. They're unpleasant. They don't like it. They don't enjoy it. It doesn't last. And so to me, again, I just don't know what that's not the path I would pick. So, but yeah, that's a good mantra for sure. All right, let me get out of here. Got a lot of stuff to do. So for those of you that are not in my world yet, make sure you click the link in my bio. Go get the hypnosis session I give you. Watch the video I made for you. Mario. Mario's here. I haven't seen Mario in a little while. How's it go, Mario? But yeah, you should absolutely, if you haven't yet, make sure you go get on my email list. I got all sorts of stuff. And in the near future, I'm going to have a free community for you all. I told you no one in the world is going to give you more free stuff than me. No one. No one's going to help you lose weight and ultimately live your goal weight more than me. I don't give a shit. You don't have to give me $1. I will help you for free. Now I got programs, and obviously in life, we invest in what we value in, but I'm here to help you regardless. And so one of the things that will be coming certainly within the next month is a free community, and I will have lots of cool stuff in there for you, all for free. And so first I got to get my clients in there. So and in my clients, in whatever capacity, you'll be getting that. Because we're getting rid of Nudge. Nudge is going away. You'll still be able to get texts on your phone, messages. It'll just be more direct, straight from me. And then there'll be this community app, which is awesome. It's already awesome. I got it set up and it's just bare bones. And it's really cool because everything's easily accessible from there. So it's really cool. And it's going to give us an opportunity to kind of connect with each other in a much, 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 much better way than the Facebook group, which again, there's really cool people in that group putting cool stuff, but it's just not set up for what I want. So I'm really excited for you all to get that. Oh, Vicky, I'm glad you're on here. Yeah. Can you access Thrive directly from your phone? Yeah, absolutely. What you would do is just click the links. It's just, you'll use your browser though. So whatever, I don't know if you have an iPhone, it's probably Safari, but whatever browser you use, you could just access the membership through there. Okay. Now, but Vicky, there will be an app coming out. Okay. And it'll be, so Vicky, you'll get this maybe even this week with the understanding that it's not done yet. Okay. It's kind of it's a bare bones version of it, who gives a shit? I want you to get it now and help me kind of what needs to go in there. Okay, so you got an iPhone. Yeah, you're probably using Safari, and you'll be able to just access it. You can right now. You could today, whenever you get an email, just click it. It'll bring you to the login page. Put your email and password in there, and you'll be right in there. So I access the program all the time through my phone. You can access the program through a computer, iPad, phone, laptop, whatever. Now, that being said, again, there will be an app coming probably for you this week or next week where you'll have an app you'll have an app that you can go to that, and it'll be just another way. It'll have links that'll bring you to the membership area. But yeah, you can absolutely listen to everything in the program on the phone. Okay. Thrive program, mastery program, all of it. It's all the same thing. You should be able to get in there. Yeah. Julie says, I keep focusing on getting a little bit better each day. Yeah, Julie. Well, that's awesome. Lorenzo says, longtime viewer. Thank you for your advice. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. Christina, it's my mind that's working against my body. So I put my mind back in its place. Ah, yes. Yes. Christina's in the program. Christina is a very coachable person. So it's exciting. It's fun having really coachable people. I will tell you that. That's one of the joys of my life is being able to coach coachable people. Cause yeah, it's exciting to watch people transform before your eyes. Christine's one of them. So nice job, Christina. Let's see what Mario's saying here for a second. I missed so many of your vids, been so busy, but I got a big problem, man. Uh-oh. Mario's always got a big problem. Let's see what it is. Let's see how big it actually is. Is it really a problem? Let's find out. Karen says, okay, I love my stomach now. That's funny. Well, good. Mario says, how do you deal with fat shaming from family members who tell me to stop dieting because I will never get thin anyways? I've been doing pretty good. I've been watching your vids and eating so much more veggies and water. Weight loss has been slow, but it's happening. Yeah, but Mario, weren't you at your goal weight? Weren't you at your goal weight like a month or two ago? Am I crazy? Answer that for me, because I love Mario's stuff. Mario always asks some of the best stuff, and I mean that. I joke with Mario because it's fun, but weren't you at your goal weight, Mario? Weight loss has been slow, but it's happening. Mario's a catastrophic thinker, so sometimes with Mario, he says what he says, and then you gotta translate it into sometimes. Okay. Oh, okay. I got you. So Mario said I was, but then I started binging because of this problem. I've gained so much weight so fast. How much weight have you put on, Mario? Hearing those words just made me binge more and more. Yeah, sure. But how much did you put on so far, by the way? And while you answer that, Lorenzo says, for someone with a food addiction, is it better to fast to break the mental addiction, or should you eat periodically to as not activate overeating urges? That's a great question. First off, I would reflect on the food addiction thing. Now, I listen, I talk out of both sides of my mouth with this. I think absolutely food addiction, a lot of times behavior presents as food addiction. And I think it's a valuable paradigm. I think looking at your food choices as an addiction in some ways can be really helpful. Okay. But on the other hand, I think a lot of times food addiction is overused and it prevents us from going deeper into what actually is the problem. You see? And so someone with a food addiction, if I was working with you, I'd want to know, what does that mean? What does having a food addiction mean to you? Because I want to know, is it everything? I mean, are you eating, like you wake up in the morning, you're just addicted, you're eating all day long, like 5,000, 6,000 calories every day? Or is it food addiction because, when the afternoon comes, I'm struggling to not eat cookies? So I want to drill down into what do you consider to be food addiction? And how does it show up for you? How does it present? So that's my first question. The next question, though, let's just say someone's struggling with their eating. Okay, so let's just back it off a little bit from the food addiction so everyone can kind of get some value from this. But let's just say that you are struggling with making healthier food choices. Is it better to fast to break the mental addiction? Or is it better to eat periodically so you don't activate the overeating urges? And in my opinion, the answer is almost always going to be do not fast, because fasting in most situations makes you hungrier. And if you feel like you have a food addiction, let me know what happens to your food addiction after you fast. Honestly, because usually for a lot of people, fasting, it's almost literally like a way to train yourself to be a binge eater because you get yourself so hungry that now you can't control your eating. Now that's most people, right? Again, there's always outliers. So if you're one of them, then ignore what I'm saying. But for you, Lorenzo, what I'd want to know is what's happened in the past when you fast. What does your eating look like the next week? And for a lot of people, when they try and fast, it triggers a lot of this overeating, a lot of this binge behavior, right? I mean, again, maybe it's not for you, but there's a lot of you on here I know that have tried fasting and you white knuckle it to noon. And by the time noon goes, you're so hungry. And now during that 8-hour window, you're way overeating. So again, in Program Yourself Thin, one of the main things we're managing is your hunger. Very, very important. Diets don't do this. Diets want you to fight against your hunger. In Program Yourself Thin, we manage your hunger. We work with your hunger so you can make it comfortable. And I feel like the easiest way to keep you in control of your weight is when you feel comfortably satisfied physically, not starving. Maybe a little hungry, but not anywhere near starving. Because the second you get starving, again, let me know how your food addiction goes. I don't know. So listen, food's not alcohol or drugs. Yeah, okay. So Lorenzo goes, once fasted for 36 hours and I completely overate more than I ever have. There you go. So that's a message to all you fasters. There's no magical. I like fasting as a technique and a tactic, but if like you've tried it and you keep doing it and way overeating, yeah, you're getting yourself way too hungry. Very, very, very common. I would say it's the norm for most people when they try fasting. It was for me. When I fasted, I played with like pretty multi-day fast back in the day. And every time it would come up, I would dread it as it was approaching. I hated it while I was doing it. And then every time it was over, I was obsessed with food for a while. So, that's the other side. There's a lot more comfortable ways to reduce your calorie consumption. And so again, what I will say to you, Lorenzo, is that me personally, I want to work with my body. I want to manage my hunger. That's, so in Program Yourself, then the mastery program, we have the weight mastery blueprints. And one of the blueprints, there's a mindset, lifestyle, and eating blueprint. And the eating blueprints, really, one of the key pieces of it is figuring out what can I eat at breakfast that comfortably gets me to lunch? What can I eat at lunch that comfortably gets me to dinner? And if you need some snacks in between there, we optimize those too. But really, again, the dieter is always looking to fight against their hunger. And subconsciously, the hungrier a dieter is, the better, because they associate being really hungry with weight loss. But that's because dieters, their time frame's this big. And all they look at is, I'm going to lose weight this week. Am I going to lose weight today? And it's that tiny, tiny short-term focus that's fucking you guys all up. Because as soon as you zoom out just a little bit, go, oh my God, yeah, I lost weight that week and then I binge ate the next 3 weeks. So yeah, I lost weight for a week and then I put more weight than I would ever put on over the next 3 weeks. You see? So we got to look at the bigger picture. And so I think once you start doing that, you'll realize that managing your hunger, not fighting against it, strategically managing it so that you never get that hungry, is one of the foundational pieces of being able to really very powerfully influence your food choices. So that's my thoughts on that. Okay. So Mario, currently I'm almost 25 pounds overweight. Honestly, can't believe I did that in like 2 months or less. Yeah. Yeah. 25 pounds overweight for sure. And especially, well, no, yeah, I'm going to take that shit back. Cause I was going to say, I think it's true though. Like when you lose the weight, like when you first lose the weight, like it's the easiest to put it right back on, physiologically, psychologically, biochemically, hormonally, every way. I think it's just the easiest. But then I was going to share with you, I mean, I dropped 50 pounds 30 years ago. About 20 years went by, because I'm thinking about 12 years ago, I put 25 pounds on, but that had been about 20 years where I was at my goal weight. And I put that 25 pounds on in like 4 or 5 months. So I was going to say it can come on easy, for sure. But yeah, I get that, Mario. But again, I wouldn't be worried about it, Mario. I would embrace this, because to me, and I want to share this for a second, because I think this is a good opportunity for me to talk about something in real specific context I don't get to talk about a lot. And it's this. that, so Mario has been listening to me for a while. He dialed some things in. I think he dropped more than, if I'm not mistaken, Mario, he dropped 40 pounds total. Am I crazy? I thought you'd lost 40 pounds to get to your goal weight. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so either way, Mario changes things up. Now he changed them kind of dramatically. He listens to me every day, but he's a young guy. He's going to do his thing the way he's going to do it. That's just how things go. This is why I don't work with young guys. So he does some drastic shit. It dropped the weight. Okay. Gets to his goal weight. But I don't look at this as a failure. The fact that you put the 25 pounds on, I do not look at a failure at all. I consider it an absolute blessing, because what it's done is it's highlighted for you what seems to be the biggest issue right now, which is that you lost the weight, but you never really identified as that version of you. And then when people say certain things, you realize it takes complete control over you. You put the weight right back on. So for me, you've illuminated a whole piece of the puzzle that you were completely unaware of. And now you're aware of it. And so to me, now you can fix that. And your chances of living at your goal weight, living at that 25-pound lighter weight for the rest of your life, go way up if you can figure out how to more effectively deal with the shit that your family says to you. So what you've proven to yourself now is that you can lose weight. You know how to do it. But what you've proven to yourself is that the real problem is what people say to me and how I interpret it. So, this highlights the point, folks. It's never the tactic. It's not knowing what to do. You all know what you should do to lose weight. You all have a diet idea in your mind that if you were a robot and you just typed in what you think you should do and you actually did it, you'd all lose weight. It's almost never about what, like, you don't know what to do. The bigger problem is you don't know how to get yourself to do it consistently. And there's a million reasons why that could be. So for Mario, it's when his family says something, it triggers him to just start overeating. So it's not a knowledge issue of like what to eat or what not to eat. It's not a willpower issue of if I can do it or not. He's done it. The question is, when they say certain things to him, he hears them and he interprets them in a way that he starts binge eating. So again, if I was coaching Mario, we would dive into that. Why are you responding that way? What are you thinking about when they say you're never going to be thin anyways? What are you thinking in your head? Well, we could guess. We could guess what he's thinking. And I bet it'd be something along, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm an overweight person. I'm never going to be thin. And as soon as you believe that, you'll guess what? Well, it's way easier to start eating everything. Again, I am a big believer, and I will tell you, and I say this to Mario. Mario's here all the time listening, but he's not really in the program. And I'll say this. Mario never really focused on his self-image. He doesn't know how to change his self-image. And he did what most dieters do, which is he remained an overweight person in his mind. Mario continues to identify as an overweight person. And overweight people can lose weight, but it doesn't feel like that's them. All you dieters know this. You've all lost weight before, but you still thought of yourself as an overweight person, an overeater, a food addict, a struggle with emotional eating, however it is you define yourself. And I think this highlights the need for you to master your weight. Some part of the process has to be dedicated to upgrading your identity, changing how you think about yourself. So that when a family member says, oh, you're never going to be thin, you're always going to be overweight, your brain says, that's not true. I already lost 35 pounds and it's easy. I'm a thin and healthy person now. Now you don't think that though, but so anyways, again, you can look at it and say, oh my God, I lost weight and then I put it on. I'm a failure. They were right, which is what most dieters do. Or you could say, oh shit, I lost all the weight. I was successful. And then something tripped me up. What is it? Oh, when they say something like this to me, it triggers a response in my brain. Let's focus on that. Let's work on that. You don't need more diet information. You need psychological information on how to respond better to the shitty things your family says. And you don't got it because you're just buying into it, Mario. You're allowing your family to just hypnotize you. So. Oh, what happened? Okie dokie. On TikTok. Oh, there we go. All of the comments just disappeared. That is weird. So if I miss any of your comments, I apologize here. Yeah, exactly. Adriana says, I agree because when I was at my thinnest, I never got smaller clothing because I would stay this size. Yeah, right? And Carrie says, is your family overweight? No, my family's pretty average weight. Mario says, it's true. I'd lost 40 pounds by following similar recipes of your salad and listening to your podcast. You're right. My family has kind of hypnotized me in a way. Yeah. So Mario, he lost 40 pounds, got down there. But Mario, I know this because Mario, he's always got this, he's very reactional, right? So it's not surprising to me, by the way, Mario, just to be honest, it's not surprising to me that you responded this way. I mean, to be honest, but again, if you could not, in NLP, we have a saying that there's no failure, there's only feedback. And so in my belief system, you can't fail until you quit. And so this happening to Mario, it feels like a setback, but to me, I don't even see it as a setback. I see it as a gift because it's revealing on a fucking platter what the real problem is. As long as you keep thinking that it's your willpower, you don't know what to eat, or you're not sure how to do it, you're bullshitting yourself. The core problem is that you don't know how to think about yourself as a thin, healthy person that you want to be. And that's why your family says one thing and it triggers you right back into how you used to think of yourself. You know? And so part of the work has to be, who do I want to be? Yeah. Mario says, my dad said something I'll never forget. I'm trying to still love you as overweight. Yeah. Again, families do this, and I'm going to take the side of families and say they probably don't mean it. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I know some family members are dickheads and they do mean it, but I'm just going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, they don't even realize how hurtful and rude and harmful these comments are. Because you may not like what I'm about to say, but I love it, is that at the end of the day, what other people say, there's stimulus. What other people say, there's interpretation, and then there's experience, which is wonderful, because it means that just because someone says something doesn't mean we have to respond automatically in one way. It means that someone can say whatever they say, and we can interpret however we want. And so once you realize that, you start to reclaim your power. And but I will say this can happen on two levels. It's so funny. I literally just was talking about this in the beginning of the call here is, do you deserve to be happy? And the answer is yes. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be thin and healthy. You deserve to be proud of your body and happy with who you are. But if we're raised with people like this that are saying all this negative shit in our heads, we start to get screwed up value systems and belief ideas in our mind. And so it's up to us to correct those. But it's what I would say to you, Mario, is I'd start reflecting on a better question. And the question would be something like, when my father says, I'm trying to learn how to love you as being when you're overweight, the first question I'm saying is, how do I want to feel about that? He said it. I can't change that. How do I want to feel about when he says those, when these ears hear those words, how do I want to respond to it? That's the question I'd start asking. And the answer may go something from, go fuck yourself, to just indifference, to I could barely hear it. I can imagine the volume's turned down. I can barely hear what they're saying. I can imagine it hits a force field and falls to the ground. It doesn't get in here. So again, I have lots of tools and techniques I can use for shit like that. But that's your journey now, Mario. The journey now, here's what I'm trying to say. So Mario lost 40 pounds and put 25 pounds on, and he's now in a mindset of, oh, I blew it. Here I go right back to about that weight. But to me, I look at it, I'm like, you're further down the path. You started here. See, like dieters are looking at like, okay, I started here. I lost a bunch of weight and now I'm putting it all back on. I'm in the exact same spot I was. I do not look at it that way. I look at it like you started here, you lost a bunch of weight, you put a bunch of weight on, and now you realize the core problem is that when people say stuff, you go right into a trance and you lose all control, motivation, focus. And so to me, you're way better off. You're way further down the path because you realize that now. Maybe you didn't realize that 6 months ago when you started this. So it's not enough just to know what to eat. You need to have some strategies and abilities to deal with the dumb shit your family says to you. And so now that you realize that's an issue, you can go to work on resolving it. And so now you're at least in the game of fixing it. So again, this is it feels like a challenge. It feels like a setback, but to me, it's just part of getting better. It's just another lesson to learn to move towards mastering your weight. Lorenzo says, definitely will be buying your course once I'm out of this rut. I definitely have an eating disorder when binging. Yeah, sure. But again, I mean, a lot of people, that's why I say like, do you have food addictions or do you have shitty strategies? You know, because I hear that from dieters all the time. So, oh, I got a food addiction. Well, so why do you think that? Well, I can't stop eating. I can't control my eating. And so, okay, well, how do you try and control it? Well, I try not to eat breakfast or lunch, and then I try to just limit my calories to 1,000 calories a day, and I can't do it. Well, that's really hard to do. It's really intense. So maybe it's not you. I made the reference the other day, and someone found that to be helpful, but it's like, because they were doing, this is a person who's probably, if I had to guess, they're overweight by at least 75 pounds, is my guess. And a couple months ago, they wrote to me and they go, well, I'm going to do a 24 fasting regimen where I don't eat for 20 hours. I eat for 4. And I say, that's fucking goofy. You're wasting your time. And they were going to do it anyways. Knock yourself out. I'll be here if you need me, I'll be here. And so the other day they got on and they go, well, okay, you can gloat. It didn't work. I said, I'm certainly not going to gloat. I'm happy for you. Now you realize that. Okay. But he goes, I'm a failure. I said, no, you're not a failure. You know, and you all can't see it with the diets because you've gotten habituated to dumb shit when it comes to weight loss. And it's just the norm now. And so if I put in a different perspective, you might be able to see it different. And it's like this. If I said, oh my God, I was practicing playing the piano, but I can't do it. I can't stick with it. And say, oh, what method were you using? I was doing the 14-7 method. And so what's that? This is why I practice 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so oh my God, that's pretty intense. You couldn't stick with that? No, I got 4 days in. I couldn't even keep it up. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just got no willpower, I guess. Well, do you have no willpower? Is that a stupid fucking strategy? Right? It's too much. And that's what most of you are doing with your diets is you're way overwhelming yourself. And so you might say, oh my God, I got a binge problem. But I look at the other side, I say, well, how hungry are you getting yourself? Because the classic dieter move I get is someone come and say, hey, listen, breakfast and lunch is great. But then the afternoon and dinner time and after is just the wheels come off I can't stick with it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I know willpower, no self-control, Jim, help me. I say, okay, what do you eat for breakfast and lunch? Nothing. Well, what do you want to eat the rest of the day? Nothing. I don't want to eat anything. I want to lose weight. Well, here's your problem. And so a lot of times where the problem shows up is not where the problem was created. You see, so I can't stop myself from eating in the afternoon. That's not a question of your willpower in the afternoon. It's a question of your shitty strategy in the beginning of the day. And so what, you're going to have some magical willpower that's going to show up in the afternoon? Again, it reveals that you don't understand willpower when people look at it that way, but that's another story. But so a much better strategy would be like, let me nourish myself at breakfast. Let me nourish myself at lunch so that when afternoon comes, I'm comfortable. And then I can make healthier food choices. And I think that's a much better strategy than trying to starve yourself and think that you can just keep it up. Hope that makes sense. Lorenzo says, it's crazy where Mario's insults trigger the emotional reactions where my family's teaching of don't waste food completely fueled my mindset of eat everything in sight or it will go to waste. So true. That's what I'm trying to say. I say this all the time. One of the things that bothers me so much about the diet mindset is this one size fits all idea that if keto is going to work for every person on the planet. Weight Watchers are going to work for every person on the planet. Just count your points. And it's like, no, we're each individual, unique beings. And we have to build whatever strategy we're going to do around us. Basically, I always say that about the Program Yourself Thin Mastery program is you're creating a one size fits one plan. It's custom built for you because you're a unique person. And I think when you start approaching it that way, you really set yourself up for much more success because you're building around your preferences, your lifestyle, your strengths and weaknesses, all those things, your responses. Yeah. Carrie says, tell them that their comments hurt you, not help. Trust your brain, not their words. Yeah. Mario says, thank you. It's hard, but I will. You might not. And again, I'll just say again, obviously when someone says mean shit to us or shit that's hurtful or harmful to us, whether they mean it or not, ideally, we say, hey, don't say that to me. That doesn't, and then they just stop. But that rarely happens that way. Okay. So again, me personally, that's a fine stretch. That works for you. Knock yourself out and do it. But I do want to give you an alternative strategy, which is that you let them say whatever they want to say. because it's a lot easier to influence yourself than it is to influence other people. And so me personally, I would rather practice my responses to when they say dumb shit, because they're probably going to say dumb shit forever. So I'm going to assume they're going to say dumb shit forever, and I'm going to work on my responses to it. I think that's a way better strategy. But we all get to choose what we're going to do. But again, I'm not even, this may sound cruel, and I certainly doesn't come out that way, but I don't feel bad for Mario. We all have got our challenges. And so again, if we can look at challenges as an opportunity to get stronger and better and grow and evolve, I think we stop feeling sorry for ourselves or the situation, or we're a victim, or and we start to stand up to it. And then that's how we overcome it. Mario says, Jim, I'm so glad I'm hearing this live right now. Yeah, me too, Mario. I'm glad you're here. I missed you, and I'm glad to hear that hopefully this is helpful to you to some degree. Mario said, thank you. I'd totally forgotten how extremely helpful you are. By just listening to this, I feel way more calm and motivated to get up, keep going. Yeah, Super Mario. Great. And that's what, that's the point of what I'm saying. I always say, I think about this all the time. I don't know how I would do it, but it's like the most valuable thing I can do for anyone is coach them. So it's like when obviously for years I did private coaching, and now I do group coaching, and the group coaching experience for people is really enjoyable because not only do I get to work with them, but they get to see me work with other people. But it's always a joy. That's what I try to do here to some degree. I mean, it's not the same as speaking with a person live, in real time, but the point of it being that one of the most beautiful things about being a coach is I can turn people around so quick. And it's not just to speak on my skills, but it's to convey a deeper point that you can feel like absolute shit, and you can feel absolutely motivated like that. Like it can happen that quick. And I think having some appreciation for how fast things can change in a positive way, I think is so freeing, because we're all going to feel like shit sometimes, but to realize that we can change it quickly, I think is profound. And so Mario's getting to experience that. He gets on this call, he's feeling like total shit. He's put 25 pounds on. His family's saying so. He's feeling out of control, all the rest of it. But what do you do? He's listening to me here reframe it. I'm reframing it for him. And I'm changing things in the way he thinks about it that make him feel better. That's what I do. You know what I mean? And you have no access to that. That's why I say the hypnosis program. That's why I separated out the hypnosis programs. I was like, Jesus, you all have no consistent access to positive reinforcement in your lives. Let's be honest. Where are you getting positive reinforcement? Consistent positive reinforcement? You just don't. And it's so powerful. And once you do get positive reinforcement consistently, it's an absolute game changer. And you've never had it practically. So anyways, I'm proud to get on here talking about this stuff, Mario, and I'm glad it's helping. Don says, please tell me you got the hypnosis plan for $97. Yeah, game changer. Yeah, Mario, you really should get that program. It's $97, folks. I'm not dropping any lower. I will tell you that. I'm not doing it. To bring it to 97, again, I want to help as many people as possible. And also, I was like the angel and devil on my shoulder, right? It's not about money. I don't give a shit. I make plenty of money doing what I do. But it's the framing of things. I've given things away for free and people just don't use them. They don't value them. And value a lot of times is subjective and made up in your mind. And so the self 97 part of me says, people aren't going to commit to it. But then I said, well, I want to be able to help as many people as possible. Anyways, I don't know. We're going to do. Sweet Quest said, I hide being on any plan because I'll be pushed to extremes by my dear hubby. Yeah. And that happens, folks. Oh, look at me. I just turned myself into a skeleton over there. Yeah, I don't know. Like dealing with other people with your weight loss is such a thing. And again, each person has to deal with it differently, but I get that, Sweet. I guess not unusual, and it's just what it is, Mara says, no, I guess I should consider. I just don't trust myself that much. I mean, I will tell you too. And again, I'm not here selling a program, so take what I'm saying or ignore it. I don't give a shit. But I will say that's part of what I'm talking about is, I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself. Sometimes making an investment in something and committing to it helps with that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, again, it's the chicken or the egg thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll never commit to anything. I won't do it. Well, it's like, okay, are you just going to believe that forever? It's a limiting belief potentially, or are you going to get it and then actually listen to it? So I don't know. It really is a chicken or the egg thing, huh? So. Yeah, Don says $97 is a meal out, for God's sake. Exactly. And I know that too, because I mean, that program is an 8-week program. It's like you couldn't go visit your shit ass hypnotist in your local paper who does this 5 hours a week, who got their certification online, who sucks at hypnosis. You couldn't go visit them for a session for $97. So again, it's just, that's part of a deeper issue. And I know this is that in America, you are systematically conditioned to undervalue your health. You're much more willing to invest in a meal into dumb ass shit. Go look at your Amazon account. Let me know what you spent this month on dumb shit. And then tell me how $97 is too much for a hypnosis program that is 8 weeks long. 8 weeks long. Every day in the morning, you get a 5-minute hypnosis session to wake up to because it's easy. 5 minutes. Every week, you get a 10-minute session with a core weight loss mantra, and you listen to as much as you can that week. The next week, you get the next one. And then you get a hypnosis library. You get a mantra workbook. You get sleep note, right? It's like you get like $1,000 worth of hypnosis, and it's 8 weeks. It's a cocoon putting you in this wonderful little space. But I don't care. It's there now, and I'm fine with it because it's like now at least I never get to say, oh, you charge too much for everything. Because I know it's bullshit. I mean, listen, I know it's too much for some people, but for most people, it's just they don't value it. They don't want to spend that money. Anyways, what am I talking about? I'm going to let that go. Don says, Jim, I worked for a psychologist who does hypnotherapy as part of practice. I had no idea the benefits. Oh, yeah. And I don't talk enough about the hypnosis benefits, and I will do that more and more as we move forward. I'm going to start balancing more the coaching side of things. I talk a lot in the podcast. I talk a lot about more of the coaching side of things, the program yourself, then mastery strategies and paradigm. And I will start talking more about hypnosis because hypnosis is real. Everyone's hypnotized constantly. Every commercial is a hypnosis session. And the truth is you have zero and never have you had access to good hypnosis in your life. Where have you gotten good, encouraging, supportive, helpful messages and strategies to master your weight, to make healthier choices, to care about yourself, to love yourself, to be connected to your motivation and your goals consistently? And I already know the answer is never. So anyways, that's what it stands for. So this says, Mario is totally right. Whenever I feel like I'm losing control, it always helps to touch base with you, Jim. Yes, good. Even going back to lessons, hypnosis sessions, it all helps. Yeah, I know that. And that's why even people in the mastery program, you got lifetime access to the Tuesday classes. That's a big deal in my world because I know people, they get into things, life happens, and they feel like they lost track. Now forever, for fucking ever, you can hop on the Tuesday calls and just pick up wherever you're at. I'm there. I'll talk to you. I'll help you get back into the program. It's like, again, I don't know. I say this, I was literally saying this today, and I'm going to say it one more time. I know you're sick of hearing it maybe, but I am literally one of the luckiest people on the planet. I really mean that. And I know that. And a lot of it's because of the work I get to do. And it just keeps getting better. The programs get better. The free stuff gets better. The paid stuff certainly gets better. The coaching gets better. Everything's getting better. And it's a joy every day for me to push this thing forward. So anyways, Linda says, I watched your TikToks for months before I clicked on your link in September. I've lost 13 pounds so far. Yeah. Well, there you go. Screenshot that. If that's all you, I get it. And again, I get it. I know how it is. So again, super proud of you for taking action, Linda. Nice job. That's awesome. All right, very good. Enough selling my program. So, all right. So everyone, again, I do have to get out of here now. So if you're not in my world, go click the link in the bio, right? Linda say she waited months, right? Why, if she did it months earlier, she might be 30 pounds down now, right? Why you want to wait to lose weight? Doesn't matter if it's Thanksgiving, doesn't matter. I got cool stuff to help you with that anyways, that I'll be giving away for free, but you got to be on my email list. I can't just get your email myself and send it to you. You got to put your email in there. Then I can send it to you. So anyways, go do that. Go listen to the hypnosis session, watch the video, read the emails. I got more cool stuff coming for you. That's all free. And then this is a podcast. So I take this audio every day. I'm here every day, usually noon Eastern time-ish, Monday through Friday, and show up. And I'll answer your questions for you best I can. And then this audio is put up in the podcast area. The podcast is called Program Yourself Then. All right. Carrie says, I haven't gotten emails in a few days. I've heard people say that, and then I go and check their accounts and they're all getting emails. I don't understand this. Send me an email, Carrie, and send me an email to jim@programyourselfthin.com with your email address, and I will look that up and see what's going on. But I've heard people saying that. I don't understand why that's happening, because every time I check it, everything seems like it's proper. But send me your thing and I'll look into yours specifically. There might be some weird glitch that will happen. So, all right, everyone, have a super duper day and we will talk soon.